Hello and welcome. My name is Kathy A, and today I'm going to do a tag, and there have been numerous people who have done this particular tag, so and I guess they all tagged me indirectly. I'd like to think I was that important. Anyway, there are 8 questions and they all have to do about guilty pleasures. Although these aren't exactly the questions I thought they were going to be, they're actually quite mild. So okay, question 1. The TV show you love but should not confess to. I have 4, actually 5. Outsourced is one, and this was a show that came on I think about a year ago, and it was about a company that outsourced all their jobs to India, and they sent this one young man over to India to oversee the production in the office, and it was really hilarious. And because I had worked for an Indian-based company, I understood some of the cultural things, and I really enjoyed. I loved the Indian culture and how they were selling novelties, and it was a really funny show, and you learned a lot about Indian culture from it. But it was so unpopular in America here because a lot of people really resented the fact that jobs are being outsourced, and a lot of people lost their jobs to them being outsourced. So it was taken off the air kind of in a hurry, and it's I don't want to say it's kind of a shame. I mean, I am certainly sympathetic to folks who lost their jobs to outsourcing, but it was just the whole learning the Indian culture thing that I found really fascinating. So Outsourced was a show I really liked a lot. Wife Swap was on for several years, and I just love watching how other people live and how they communicated with their kids. And after a while it got to be a little patterned, and you could tell there was some kind of psychiatrist or something on the team that counseled them, so kind of got them through it. But they'd always take like somebody from a really rich home or real uppity and put them into kind of a redneck environment, and vice versa, and you could see how each of them, you know, worked. Like they had a real workout nut in with kind of a lazy kind of, you know, large person home where they ate, you know, a lot of sweets and things, and then the uppity person would be driving them nuts, and they would go nuts eating the healthy stuff in the healthy. Anyway, you get the picture. Wife Swap. Before I got married, I was addicted to wedding shows like Say Yes to the Dress, and Four Weddings was my favorite. Four Weddings was they followed, they picked 4 women out, and they had to go to each other's weddings and grade their reception, the wedding service, the dress, everything, what they liked about the food, and then the one who had the highest grade, the show would pay for their honeymoon. And I love that show. I love seeing how people plan their weddings. I love the different dresses. There were people of all sizes, different types of ceremonies. It was really fascinating. Ghost hunters. I love shows about ghost hunting and the paranormal and stuff like that. In fact, that's how I found Graveyard Girl. I really like her. She used to go to graveyards, and she would film in there, and it started to get a little weird, and she stopped doing it. And now she's kind of, I think she's one of the top 10 YouTubers on YouTube. I get a big kick out of her. Some people find that she's got a very strong personality and that it's grating on some people, but I love her. But anyway, Ghost Hunters is a show about some guys from Rhode Island. They're plumbers in the daytime, and at nighttime they investigate paranormal activity in different homes. And I've actually been to a couple of the places they went to because they are local, fairly local to me, and I almost signed up for one of their classes once. They have Saturday classes they teach to people who are interested in it. So I really like Ghost Hunters, and I didn't really stalk him, but I looked up where their location was, and they used to be based in Jason's house. I think it was Jason's house. And I wound up, it was an old phone book or something, and I wound up at Jason's house, and it was like, oops. It was, yeah, so they aren't based there anymore, but I really loved that show. And then they kind of got a little big for their britches, and they went international, and then it got a little, I don't know, I just liked it when they were just basic people, you know, from Rhode Island going to different houses. And the Youngones, which was a British sitcom back in the early 1980s. About 4 college-age guys who lived together, and they were all stereotypes of really bad college kids in England. I really loved that show. It was very, very funny. Rick Mail was in it. A lot of people. So, question 2, food. You eat what? Nothing really weird. I think I'm a popcorn fan. I love corn in general, and I even like sour corn mash bourbon. I mean, I love corn. Corn is my favorite food. And I love hot fudge sundaes. When I was little, my mother used to take me for a hot fudge sundae if I got an A on a test or something. I love cookies. I love baking cookies. I love eating cookies. I love trying out new recipes for cookies. And I'm guilty of eating the raisins out of Raisin Bran, but not the bran part. I take all the, like, I'll pour out some Raisin Bran and just eat the raisins out of it, and then put the bran back in the box. My husband's probably wondering why there aren't 2 scoops in the Raisin Bran. Question 3. Music I love and others just cringe at. I think, you know, there's a type of music for everybody, so I can't say that I like music that nobody else likes, because I can say that my friends probably don't like a lot of the music I like, but I was a DJ for 12 years, and I basically played 80s music and alternative and goth, punk, new wave, and I also like a lot of new music, adult alternative they call it. I like hip-hop music a lot. I like Missy E, Drake, he's one of my favorite. I like Nicki Minaj, I get a big kick out of her. And different, you know, oddball songs. I'm not a big fan of some of the more gangster kind of songs, but I do like a lot. My guilty online habit is probably that I watch YouTube way too much, and I go on Facebook and I repost all those corny sayings, you know, about friendship or living every day to its fullest, that kind of junk, that sort of thing. But I probably watch way too much YouTube. What I love to wear but I shouldn't, my sweatpants and my lizard boots. There's really not a whole lot, because when I go out in public I try to dress fairly nicely. I don't dress like a sleaze. Movie you should not love so much but you do. Imitation of Life is one. It's from 1934, Claudette Colbert. I love this because it showed a very strong woman who was very resourceful and created a huge empire out of a pancake recipe that her roommate, who was an African-American woman, had made. And the African-American woman, this is the controversial part, the African-American woman was very stereotyped, and it was very racist. And I didn't think of it like that because everybody got along so well, and she had this wonderful recipe, but she kept saying, you know, we're stupid and all that, you know, it was just very, very racist, and I just didn't see that in the film, but I love that film. And Heidi, the 1968 version of Heidi. I wound up dating the guy who played Peter in that movie, but not for very long. Question number 7. A funny habit that people comment on. Well, some of the camera angles, you know, I'm always being asked about the camera angles, why I don't get closer to the camera. I'm just going to demonstrate that now. You're going to see that my camera doesn't autofocus. So what I have to do is pre-set up a spot and sit in it. And I found that in the past when I do something like this, my head gets cut off, or I'm over here somewhere or down here. So when I get a new camera that autofocuses, I'll be able to get a little closer, but until then, you don't get to see my wrinkles that close. The other thing is we get these weird appearances by my husband in the background, and nothing generates more comments than that. He streaked once behind me, and I had to do a lot of very creative editing. And he's like, you know, flashed me in the side, or he's, you know, come over giving me a kiss or whatever. So it's, you know.
Hello, ladies.
Thusly, anyway. Good timing on that, thank you. Anyway, Question 8. Makeup look that you love but is just so wrong. I love the 80s. I love the 80s. I love that big, big makeup with all the lines going up and the contour that went like Adam Ant, you know, that kind of stuff. I love the 80s. Black lipstick, I like the goth look, I like new wave. I was like a new, and it was like, I just missed that. That was so much fun. It was so creative, and that's what really got me into makeup outside of lip gloss and a little mascara, you know. And then the 90s, it was just the brown on my lid and then up a little. That's all I wore. Anyway, I liked what the men did with 80s makeup too. I mean, Adam Ant, Boy George, The Cure, Robert Smith. Oh gosh, Robert Smith. All those goth guys and new wave guys, and sadly, I think we just lost Steve Strange from Visage was his band. They did a few songs. Fade to Grey was one of their big ones. We just lost him. He had a heart attack on stage. Anyway, so that's all the questions. If you have not done this yet, you are tagged. You're tagged. So it's kind of fun, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will see you next weekend. We had a big open house, and we had a couple people that are kind of interested in our house, so we're going to see how that pans out. And they have a new background to film in. We don't know. It's snowing out. Can you believe it? It is snowing out. And the animal's been going crazy. I have a quick video here of the squirrel. I greased the pole so the squirrel couldn't get up to the seats, because the squirrels were just tearing up the seats and spreading them all over the place, and the birds weren't getting the seats. So I greased the pole, because they say if you put like Crisco on the pole, they can't get up. And last night, actually, they wound up knocking the pole over, and they got the whole thing, the rod and everything came off. So they're very smart. Squirrels are smart. They deserve the food. Everybody, have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.